You know, you think about it, my last playoff game, regular season game, was in Heinz Field, and I'm starting off the '09 season in Heinz Field also. That's going to be very ironic, you know, being on the other sideline, you know, seeing all the fans, you know. It'd probably be like a home game for me, you know, because it's starting off my new season, you know, even though I'm with another opposing team, just being in the stadium that I played my first 4 years there, and, you know, had some good experiences there, and, you know, the fans have always supported me, and I enjoyed playing in front of those guys, and it should be, you know, a very exciting game. You know, we enjoy one another. You know, the only difference is when those guys are talking about, you know, their training camp, this upcoming training camp, then I reflect and say, oh, I have a totally different, you know, training camp to go to this year instead of being in Latrobe. So that's going to be different. You know, the Latrobe experiences that I have had my first 4 seasons was awesome experiences. Sometimes you develop very strong relationships with your fellow teammates there during training camp. So I'm definitely going to miss that part. You know, we had some good times in Latrobe, even though, you know, it's training camp is supposed to be the most, you know, grueling time of the season. But, you know, it was very enjoyable for me. When a player gets drafted into an opposing team when free agency hit, you know, majority of the time that player will, you know, think the first option would be the home team, and they was in, you know, strong considerations also, you know, but Arizona came in with a little more aggressive tactic, and you know, and I had to go that route, you know, and but it was a surprise, you know, especially just playing Arizona in the Super Bowl, just facing those guys, and a couple of months later, you know, I'm wearing their uniform, so it was a surprise as far as that. Since I've been there, I've been battling against Hines in practice, and, you know, Tone, the first 3 years, you know, has been going against him in practice. So it should be, you know, a good situation. I know it's going to be fairly different because it's not the feel of being at the South Side. You know, it's going to be Heinz Field with millions of people watching and the stadium filled up. So that'll be the difference. But, you know, for the most part, it's going to, you know, the sense of a feeling of being on the South Side. The most important thing with me, as it came down with last year, you know, whenever I'm out there and I'm healthy, you know, I'm going to find a way to be successful. And that's the most important thing I'm praying for, just to be able to be out there and healthy. And that kind of hurt me last year because I started off very strongly and, you know, got hurt, something I could control, but that's just the nature of the game. But I feel as though when I'm out there, you know, I find a way to do some positive things and, you know, and just gel with everybody else, you know, try to make the defense that much more better. The team's very young. You know, we have a lot of talented guys, you know. Most important thing, you know, you just have to learn how to win and expect to win. And, you know, that's something that franchise has been inconsistent with thus far until last year. So just learning the expectation that we are winners and we're going to go in and dominate and win. You know, that's something that our mindset has always been in Pittsburgh. You know, wherever we face somebody, it doesn't matter what happened the week before, we always came in with the mindset we're going to dominate and we're going to play hard-nosed physical football. And most importantly, get respected and get a win. And that's something that we need to establish this year, you know, with Arizona coming in and just knowing that, you know, we're capable of getting the job done and never doubting ourselves. And, you know, they have that coming into it and just, you know, just expecting to win, I think, is the most important thing.
Can you help with that?
I'm going to try. You know, I'm going to try. You know, I've never been a vocal individual like that. I try to just go out and play football and, you know, and let that, you know, be my most verbal experience. But as far as me being vocal, you know, they have other guys that's already out there. I'm just trying to be an extra piece to the puzzle, hopefully.